Hey, Captain Ryan, how's it going?
Hey, Melinda, how are you today? It's beautiful Sunday.
We've had a very busy day, which is super exciting.
Yeah, it's been busy.
Yeah, very cool. So I thought of a topic that came to my mind as I was working on your marketing for your new course that you just launched today about Wahoo plugs. And the topic is, if you were to start our business over, what is one thing that you would do differently?
That's an extremely challenging question. But if I would have to go back, I would have looked for a mentor in this industry that I could trust and, build a relationship along the way.
Shit.
Yeah. I would have. It's
And the reason why I say that because it's similar to my answer, but go on.
Yeah. Yeah, well, it's the truth. It's like here you go. When I first started, I had I had some pretty prominent captains call me, and it was the questions I got were, "Can we come see your boat?" That was some of the first things. "Can we come see your boat? What type of rods are you using?"
Kind of like nosiness?
Nosiness. These are very prominent guys, prominent at the time, and it's just not going to go into who they were, but I found that very interesting because what happens is that what happened was I had let a few guys in, and I was like, okay, I looked at them as mentors, and then what I found was they quickly turned on me. And it goes back to, it's interesting, this is for a lot of you younger guys out there. And I just had a great discussion with one of the guys that I would consider in my circle. And he's had a hard time finding jobs over the years working with captains because he'll get on the boat and he'll pick up on things really quickly. And the captain notices that. And then the next day he's gone. Or the guy ghosts him or doesn't return his phone calls, or he shows up at the boat and then there's a mate there that just falls along with the program, I got stories about those. But anyhow, so yeah. So that's I could go on and on and on about it, but I'm not. That's the gist of it. Just somebody I could talk to, that I could trust. And what would happen is I would feel like I would have that, and bam, I get slapped in the face. So here I am today. And I'm very happy with the path that I've taken without a mentor or without, anybody showing me anything, really, kinda. I just kind of picked up on things as I've gone along. Now, granted, mentors come out in all types of shapes and forms as businesses, and I've met some really good business owners that are in my circle that we talk business about, that are there to chat. But when it comes to a fishing mentor and a charter boat fishing mentor, as far as anybody, I absolutely not. I don't have anything. So.
Yeah. Well, I think you hit the nail on the head, and you brought even how I was going to answer, let's say, to another level, because the trust factor, you're right, is huge. And I think that when I look at you and I know how much you pour into the courses and the communities, and we have since 2020, I feel that that's a result, and this is how life works anyways, people, that's a result of you knowing the gap of what you would have liked to have had, right? And that's everyone's job and purpose in this world is okay, where is there the gap? Where is there the blue ocean, so to speak, that you can fill as your life's purpose? And that is just the next level to the mentorship that you provide, is the trust factor.
Right.
And that's huge. I love that you said that. You caught me off guard, number one, that you said mentorship. I thought you were going to say equipment or something. But because we've been down the path with that. We borrowed equipment from people, and it was junk. And I finally, after a couple years, I was like, whatever, we are not borrowing things from people anymore. We are buying new. So that's actually how I thought you were going to answer. Mm-hmm. So this is an amazing answer, because mine is also mentorship. Because when we started our business, when we got laid off, and technically you could say we started in 2012, but we really kind of started the journey in 2009 when we got laid off and moved to the Keys, and we were trying to figure things out, and I was building my sales business. Mentorship wasn't like it is now with the internet and being able to find people. It didn't exist. So you kind of like organically found a mentor in your workplace or someone you knew. If you were very fortunate to have parents who were 1099 entrepreneur people, you might have had more opportunity. We both love our parents, but our parents were W-2s, so we just had different, situations than other people. But, I would say mentorship too, but you're right, the trust factor.
Yeah.
One of my most challenging mentors that I had now in this role as a coach and a business owner, so here in the Keys, years into our business, was a marketing coach. And I really debated about hiring her. And this was, after my books. So like 2022, I think. Yeah. And I debated. My gut wasn't telling me it was the right move, which should have been what I listened to, but I didn't. And then I ended up feeling kind of desperate, and I ended up hiring her. And it was a 6-month relationship that I, after a month, almost threw in the towel. And of course, I would always still pay. I do not believe in canceling a mentorship agreement, but I almost just said, here, take the money, I'm out. And I stuck with it. But what was so crazy was, as the mentorship went on, she started asking me questions as if I was the mentor, which was a little triggering at first. But then I just realized I was really good. And that was that. And I just took it for like learning more about myself, that I was a good mentorship, and it was what it was. And let's say I made some lemonade out of lemons and just moved on afterwards, moved on after my 6-month commitment was done with her. But I think that, again, finding someone to trust, and that was a piece of it too. I didn't trust her. She had flipped on me a couple times, and it wasn't the best relationship.
Yeah. And I'm going to step back a little bit. I look at like some people that I would like to have worked with, and then there's obviously what they call the red flag. It's like when somebody says that sort of thing, then it's you look at it like a red flag, because sometimes they, in this industry or any industry, sometimes they like to they want your knowledge. They want your knowledge. Well, there's only one blueprint of one person, but you can see it's extremely challenging for me to work with somebody who's got what's the word for it? That it's kind of narcissistic, I guess you could say.
Well, I don't think at your level, I don't know who would be a mentor for you now.
Yeah, now. In the fishing world,
it's not, because we've created such a different business model than anyone else out there. We've definitely been pioneers and trailblazers as far as what we've done. And that's what I would help someone with as a business coach, is like, don't follow someone else's blueprint, because likely it's outdated. And number one, that's for them. So we have always been the masters of creating our own business model. And I feel very confident in having the authority to say that. And that's, again, how I would work with someone else if they hired me, is like, don't look at your neighbor, focus on what you feel aligned to do, and continue to show up and pivot and tweak those things along the way. Yeah. You know, it's a journey. So with that, like, I don't know who for you would be a mentor versus me. I still have lots of different mentorship programs and coaches that I tap into for various reasons to keep on fine-tuning my skills. And then I teach those things to you as like a byproduct. I narrow it down because you don't have time to do all the things that I do, because you're actually out there fishing.
And if you're a new mate or something, or if you're looking to gain the knowledge, be a good student.
Yes, I think that's a great.
Be a very good student.
Yep.
There's a lot of guys, a lot of professional athletes that are very good students. They listen. They don't try to they don't come back with they're not snarky. They don't come off as a know-it-all.
Yeah.
In the fishing world, it's anybody can do it, and that's it. And a lot of people, and that's the thing is you really have to grasp that, and you're going to have all sorts of personalities that come into this world. So if you are coming into this industry as a mate, be a good student. Mm-hmm. Be a good student. Be willing to sign something with your captain that you're not going to take his GPS numbers, that you're there for a long-term mentorship with him, and he'll respect you a lot more for that. And there'll be a level of trust that will come into play.
Yeah.
So,
you hit on so many things there. Number one, I believe in an NDA. So if someone wanted an NDA, especially if they're someone that is a name and you don't want it out there, because what I see often now in the coaching world with female coaches is they're showing their client and sharing the client's challenges and, for their own marketing bit. So it's a little sticky for me. We try not to do that. But then also too, I was with a big coaching and consulting company in 2022, and they would say, I think they took it from somewhere else, so I don't feel bad sharing this, but they would use the tagline student of the game. And I think that that's just such a powerful way to be. And you nailed it when you said you always need to be a student.
Always.
You are always a student. So even though you don't have a direct mentor, if you take me out of the equation, you are always studying. Always studying. He studies so much, you guys. It's mind-blowing. He's always studying. I know he talks about satfish in terms of studying, but that's just one little piece of the things he studies. It's crazy. And he does share a lot of that in his courses and communities. So if you're interested in things like that, definitely tap in.
Right. And I do like to share what I've learned over the course of and I like.
So where do you find your own mentorship?
So in the way I found my own mentorship.
Yeah.
And
just different way.
Yeah. And I don't look back on it. I get much more, and I've learned that I've developed my own fishing program. I don't need to do what everybody else is doing just to try to fit in, which is a big thing in the charter boat fishing industry. So if you're not going and doing what the rest of the fleet is doing or calling somebody, then you're looked at as an outcast. So it's just interesting to see how that plays out.
Yeah, it's just the long game.
Because it's the long game, really. And I didn't have a mentor. I didn't have anybody show me that stuff.
Yeah, but I also believe that, and this is maybe a little much, but I think a lot of people would agree with this or appreciate this. God gives you what you can handle and what you're supposed to be showing up to do. So if I just believe that, I think about that often when we have all the different challenges that we have in our business. I believe that we are strong entrepreneurs, that even though it may be a rough day, we get through it and we then have that knowledge so we can help other people. I'm creating this mastermind, the Formidable, all these tools and all these stories and all these things are ways that I can help another couple in business or even a private client that is going through something. Because if it's not even the exact situation, it's the fact that we got through it. It sucked, but we got through it, and you can do this too. Mm-hmm. So I think there's a lot to be said for that.
Yeah, there is. There's a lot to be said to that. And it's one thing too in this world is somebody always says that they know that they already know it.
Oh yeah, that's everywhere though. It's not everywhere. Even just fishing. That's everywhere. That's so many coaches will start off a program and they'll say, "I want you to stop saying that you know it before you even watch this program."
Yeah.
Because it's so common. It's literally so common. Yep. It's just our humanness, the ego comes up so quickly, so fast, and it puts up this wall of resistance. And it's like, well, why are you even here if you think you know it all? And please do show me your catch rate and let me see if you really do know it all.
Yeah. That's why
well, let's be real.
I get a good laugh.
Or how successful your business is, or how long you've been in business, or are you still married? Like, how is that? And granted, people get divorced for different reasons, but a lot of times there are things that you could have worked through and just withstood like the seasons of your relationship.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's super common. People are like, oh, I know. And it's so funny. We've definitely had those people in our courses and communities over time. And we used to ask for feedback. And the last time we did that was the last time. And we're like, we're never doing this again, because that's when all those people showed up.
Yeah.
That's when all the people would show up and be like, I know all this and da 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 da, and Captain Ryan's elusive. Well, now we just laugh at the elusive word, and I just used it in your marketing today.
Yeah, it's so funny and then I see what they actually catch, because they don't catch much.
Because she didn't catch anything. So what did you really know?
Yeah. They picked up a few tips.
Yeah, I hope I triggered some people out there. I'm good with that.
And they're like,
I'm solid. I'm solid. But you know what? That's part of it too. So if you're a couple in business, or you're an online entrepreneur and you're listening to this, and you have some of those people in your communities, again, know you'll get through it. These people are everywhere. They think they know everything, and that's just how it is. So I just move on.
Yeah.
I just like move on. Take you off my email list.
Yeah,
move on. Like,
it's
all
funny.
good.
It's funny. I'll meet some guys and they listen to the podcast, and then they say, they'll try to spin the words around a little bit. I'm like, I've been doing. It's like it's fun because I've been like, I've seen a lot of things in the industry, all just not down here, just up and down the coast, and stories and things. And I'm just glad I took the path that I did. And I'm always open to new adventures when it comes to stuff. And I always like to mix things up. I'm not, when you look at my social media, I just like to do different stuff because I just love to fish. And there's just more to just going out and going fishing than that. That is like the whole like gist of it. Teaching people how to fish, taking people fishing, going fishing just to go fishing and not caring and just to relax. So there's a whole lot more to it than just like going out there and trying to catch a fish to put it on Instagram.
Yeah.
And the guys that understand are the guys that are crushing it out there, because other guys are consistently catching. They really are, because they're just doing it for themselves and for their mental health state.
Mm-hmm. That's the energetics of the fishing.
That's the energetics of it.
There's as much as like if you're in the female coaching world and so many women are talking about energetics, I consider myself an energetic coach. Like I can tell you that Ryan uses his intuition and energetics on the daily. And those are things we work on together. So he's learned to embrace those things, and it guides a lot of his day, along with all the other stuff he does.
And I have to monitor and honestly, I have to I got to be careful about the it's like, that's why I'm so glad that my circle is tight, because I have to be careful about who I let in.
Yeah, and that's with everything, though.
With everything.
That's all businesses.
That's all businesses.
I can't remember who said it, but it was one of the big, maybe Subri. It might have been him. So if so, or I could be wrong, but it said, my circle's so small, it's a dot.
Yeah.
And that's part of mentorship. That's why you would have a mentor, because as you're growing in your business, if you have to let go of people in your life so you can focus on your business, then the mentor is like, you know what, that's okay. You're going to be fine. So, yep, some people that are very successful, most people, they have such a tight circle that it's a dot.
Yep.
And I love that. So you can stay focused and you don't bring in the other people's energy. You don't get distracted. You don't have any type of, drama by what they're saying, or they're projecting on you, or they're reveling in, or they're asking questions that are not positive. They're nosy versus celebratory. There's so much there. So I think it's okay to have a circle that's a dot.
Yes, it is. It is. It's you're exactly right.
Mm-hmm. So anything else you want to add for this?
Nope.
I think we've got,
yeah.
We can probably make this a part 2. So if people tell us they like this conversation and it's helpful, because where do you get straight up talk anymore? I don't know.
Yeah.
Where is it not some glossy like photo shoot? I'm not sure. And I do like glossy photo shoots, actually. We're going to do one in November, I hope. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, anything else you want to add?
I think that's it. Excuse me. I think that's it. Just keep on keeping on to the guys out there that are working hard and learning, and then every day, like I've got one motto. If I can come home and look at myself in the mirror and I can say I gave it my all, then I'm okay. If I can't, then I wake up the next day and then I go harder. So
I love that.
That's it. That's it. And it's that's one thing with fishing is that it's a physical sport that combined. It's not anything else. It's a physical sport that requires mental. So you're alert. And that's one thing I want to encourage guys. And I want to leave you guys with this too, is that I went through some stuff with some energy drinks. And I got to tell you what, I've been caffeine free for almost 2 months now.
Yeah, I would say it was around Lionsgate in August. I have to look at the date in my journal that we went on a radical health change and got rid of Celsius. You've had your fair share of experience with Monster and 5 Hour Energy and On It and all sorts of things.
Yeah, and I have to tell you this, that I didn't think I was going to be able to fish without this stuff for alertness. And I got to tell you what, I'm actually 10 times better than I ever was, which I was like surprised me just with hydration of water.
Yeah.
It's just like, it's shocking. The level of like clarity not having caffeine has done what it's done for me. So I just want to share that with you guys because, I know a lot of you guys are like, oh, I got to have 6 Celsiuses now during the day, or like the Monster because somebody else is drinking Monster. You're going to drink Monster because you think it's going to do better. But I got to tell you what, man, what I went through, you don't want to go through. So, I am 10 times better not drinking that stuff. So, that's my little tip for you guys.
Yeah, little closing bonus tip. Very nice.
Yeah, closing bonus. Yeah.
Very nice. Well, thanks everyone for listening. You can connect with me on Instagram, Melinda_Van Fleet. My website is melindavanfleet.com. And what about you?
And then you can connect with me at on my Instagram, Good Karma Sportfishing _FL Keys. And you can look up my website, goodkarmasportfishing.com, and check out all I have to offer.
Yeah, awesome. And I'll put everything in the show notes as well. So wrap it up.
Yep, that's it, guys. And remember, anytime you're fishing, it's all good.
Thanks for being here.